Hello everybody, I just sent out a notification on my brand new weather app, Hutch's Weather. Search it in your app store today and download it. Let me know if you got the notification that we're going live. We're going to talk about record highs that we mentioned in the last day or two. We're also going to talk about that winter blast and why I think we have a legitimate shot at 6 or more inches of snow in our region. Not everybody's going to see that much, but I am going to show you what I'm feeling, at least with the information that we have now, and we're going to go over it all. Bring your questions, drop a comment. If you like the videos, make sure you hit the like button, comment, and maybe drop a tag on there for a friend so they can join us during this broadcast too. Make sure that you are ready with that weather app because road conditions heading into next week could get a little tricky. Now, we're going to start right away with our high temperatures for the day. Up in the Northern Valley, 32 degrees as you go up there in that Kennedy area in the Kitson County region. How about Grand Forks? A beautiful day there. That says 43 degrees. And look at Fargo Moorhead, 46 as forecast by yours truly. Temperatures down in the southern portion of the Missouri River Valley saw some low to mid 50s out there. 57 in Mandan Lakes country, 44 degrees as you sneak into Otter Tail County there. Becker County, a pair of low 40s for the Hawley area and out towards the Detroit Lakes area. Maybe 37, 43 for Roseau, and 39 degrees up there as you go in towards that Lake of the Woods County area. So that was today. And once we match this up once again with our visible satellite loop, what you're going to see is essentially we have some cloud cover across the region that's drifting by. But the clouds that you don't see moving, well, that's snowpack on the ground. So a healthy amount of snow in the shadows of the Botno Hills there as you go in towards that Langdon area and Towner County. So healthy amounts of snow there. And notice that line going all the way through western parts of Minnesota, but you can kind of clearly see the old Lake Agassiz corridor there as we've got a lot of melting that has taken place here, and that's just going to allow us to get even more better temperatures over the next several days. Can't wait to answer your questions about that. But again, anywhere you see the snowpack remaining, your temperatures are going to be a little bit cooler than what we're going to see here in Fargo, Valley City, Breckenridge, all the way out towards Wishick, Ashley, Bismarck, and the Oil Patch. We're setting to smash some records as we talked about yesterday. So today we missed a record high by 2 degrees in Fargo, exactly as forecast. And now a wise forecaster told Hutch never forecast a record high, but here's why. Now we do have some clouds in the forecast. Let's go through the hour by hour details on this. For your night tonight, so there's going to continue to be beautiful conditions. As you just saw in the satellite view, not a lot in the way of cloud cover streaming across. That's too heavy. Heading into the overnight hours, what's this? This is a high pressure center. That means north winds. So we have a little bit of a weak, very weak cool front pushing its way through. That's going to cause northerly winds across northern Minnesota as we go into your morning. And those northerly winds over the snowy fields from Manitoba and all the way out towards Ontario are going to bring cooler flow of air across northern Minnesota and the northern Red River Valley. Here in the Southern Valley, we start the day off with a fair amount of sun, as will Lakes Country as well. And that'll make us feel like it's going to be a great weekend. Now, as we head into the midday hour, we might see a few clouds passing overhead. But notice this. There are some kinks in the isobars out here. What is this? This is another low pressure system and associated cold front moving through as we head into your Saturday night and Sunday. So check this. Here it comes. That's a south wind setting up ahead of the next cold front. South wind means warming it up. And we'll have prefrontal warming ahead of this cold front. You can kind of see the picture of it right here. We're going to get a nice southwest breeze across all of southern North Dakota, from Dickinson and Rame and Hettinger and Lemon, South Dakota, right through the areas in Stutzman County, from Ypsilanti right through the areas near Catherine and on in towards the southern Red River Valley. Another gorgeous day, and your record high in Fargo is only 40 degrees, and we will obliterate that record on Sunday the way it looks to me. Now, we'll have a chance for some snow showers up north, maybe some rain showers depending on your temperature and the timing of this, but in the morning it could be mixed with a little bit of frozen precipitation, so keep that in mind. And then as we head into the latter part of the day, that cool front will sag through, and that will cause our temperatures to suffer just a pinch of a setback early next week. Here, let's take a look at this, and then we'll talk about this system with the snow, and we'll go over it in detail. 49 degrees on Saturday. Fargo's record 42 shattered that record. 53 is Hutch's forecast I've had for the last couple days here for Sunday. Your record 40 degrees. It's a bold move. That's a real big smashing of the record, but I think we're going to stick with that forecast here in Fargo. Up to the north, much cooler temperatures. For you, some of you, Grand Forks and north of Grand Forks, especially with the snow on the ground, 30s. 41 degrees, we cool off after that secondary little weak cold front makes its way through into your Monday and Tuesday. And then these days are highlighted because Wednesday will bring a storm system, a Colorado low, and we'll go ahead and detail this. There's going to be bands of heavy snow. There'll be areas of rain. There'll be areas with a mix. And there will also be areas of, I think, a chance for some thunder snow. So pass it along to your friends. Hutch is talking thunder snow or thunder sleet. It's possible with a dynamic system like this heading into, well, our late winter season. Now, this will cool us off, and temperatures in your neighborhood are really going to be dependent on how much snow you get. If you get 3 to 5 inches of fresh new snow over the entirety of your area, we're going to be below zero on Friday morning in a lot of places as cold high pressure systems set in. And beyond that, I see more chances for some snow shower activity on the 21st and the 28th, meaning the closing of the month of February looks to be definitely a little bit more on the stormy side. Now, I got a lot to talk to you about here with regards to our snow chances. Let's start with this. American model, European model, and behind me, the Canadian model. All three models are converging on a solution. There's a lot more agreement than there has been the last few days. Not only that, we're seeing more of a kind of a marriage to this pink on the map. And the magnitude of the heaviest snow on each of these models starting to match up. No, I can't tell you how much your town is going to get. No, we're not making a forecast for specific amounts yet, but we are seeing a continuity between these models that has me saying, I do believe that the chances for an area getting 6 or more inches here close to us is now going to be likely. And it comes with wind. Some of the models, as we'll go over. And it comes with a heavy, wet variety of snow. Down on the south side, though, Fargo and Point South, you notice here the American model has that path from central North Dakota through the Red River Valley and the northern half of Minnesota and northern Wisconsin. Hey, similar track for the European model, not quite as widespread heavy. This bright pink that you see here, that's heavy, or purple, I should say. And anything in the light pink is a substantial amount of snow. Canadian model unloads north of Minot. It takes a break and then it unloads again here in the valley in portions and out into northern Minnesota. So there is some consistency there. Now let's take a close-up of the European model so that you can look at these numbers. And I will tell you why Hutch is saying what I'm saying. All of these models have some locations that have over 8 inches of snow. I can't tell you exactly where that's going to happen. This particular run of the model says Minot, look out. If you happen to be in Sheridan County, look out. If you happen to be in Wells County, look out. Now, we can't tell you exactly where this ramp or the heavier band of snow is going to set up, but there is a possibility. I've said it a bunch of times, and I hope it sticks, and let me know if this makes sense to you. These long-range models, the American, the European, as well as the Canadian, have a grid size that's really large. So it tends to overblow the aerial coverage of the heavy band of snow. Here it looks like a 200-mile wide swath of ridiculousness is going to make its way through. This almost never happens. I won't say it never does happen, but it almost never happens to be this widespread. Normally we see, with the highest band of snow, with ample supplies of moisture, a pretty narrow path with this very heavy amount. And that's what makes forecasting it difficult, but it also makes communicating the forecast difficult. When you see a map like this, you think everybody's getting a foot of snow, and that's a no-no. That is why. We also do some other types of model runs. So again, this is just one model, the European model. How about Fargo? What's it saying? Well, it's putting us in a 5-inch range. It's putting Grand Forks in a 6-inch range. What we can say at this time is that there's evidence now where multiple models are saying that we could get 6 or more inches of snow in the heaviest bands of snow with this system. There's going to be a very sharp cutoff on both the north and south flanks of this storm. Cut off to the north by dry air, cut off to the south by rain as it starts. And that low pressure track is going to dictate where this heavier band of snow sets up exactly. And then we'll talk about that here in just one moment. So fashion up your questions, and I do appreciate each of you watching. Clint Mo, good to have you on here. Penny Jallo, it's a snowbird from Minnesota and Florida right now. Panama City Beach, are you kidding me? That sounds good. How about you upload a photo of Panama City Beach to hutchesweather.com, or use my new app, as a matter of fact. Download my app, search Hutch's Weather in your app store today. Whether you have an iPhone or whether you have an Android product, there's a copy for both of you out there. And then upload the view of what it looks like right there. And I'll get notified, and I can't wait to see it, Penny. Thanks for sharing. Deb, good to have you on board. Watching from Fargo Moorhead. Thank you very, very much. Hey, Kay, good to have you on board. What a beautiful day it was. Pedro and I took a wonderful walk today, and we sure did enjoy it. And for all of my friends on Facebook, let's take a look at what's going on. Thanks, Dylan, so very, very much for supporting Hutch with stars. I do appreciate it. Roso needs snow, says Scott. And you have a better chance at seeing some northern Minnesota snow with this system than your neighbors to the south. But a pretty healthy dose is still a possibility anywhere. I don't like every storm, though. Look, there's going to be these pockets of dry, and we won't know exactly where that's going to happen. And even during the event, the switch can be shut off very quickly, so we'll keep you updated with what we know on that as well. Nathan, good to have you on board, my friend. Thank you so much. Thunder Snow, commemorate the Bison switching divisions. Thunder, snow, wah. Okay, no more singing for Hutch today. Hey, you're tagging friends, Adam. Thank you very much for tagging your friends. We'll answer more questions. I'm going over the hour-by-hour forecast. You'll want to see this because there's still some big-time differences between the model runs and how they're handling the snow. Sean, good to have you on board, and thank you. Please dump snow on Bemidji. Ooh, checking in on your area. I can move the map here, by the way. Let's do that. If you happen to be out towards Duluth, okay, you get into Grand Rapids and Hibbing area and that North Shore, it looks to be a little bit more problematic. Why? We have an upslope wind, actually, as it's coming off the big lake. You get a little more moisture, you fetch it, and then you rise it up into those Lutsen Mountains, if you will, and then essentially we're going to get some enhancements to the snowfall in those areas. That could be something to see. And then out toward the cities, you get into the Twin Cities, not so much. But as you go north, it quickly rises north of the metro area. Now, let's take a look at what's going on with this hour-by-hour forecast, shall we? First off, if you want to see it, we're going to take a look at some fog forecasting. Let me see if I can find my fog forecast. Where'd I put it? Oh, it's in my pocket. Okay, here we go. Fog forecast. Got it on a click now. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the forecast for the night tonight. We do have a chance, again, in the Northern Valley where snow exists on the snowy fields. The air cools faster throughout the day. You've evaporated some moisture in the air. And shazam, shaboom, and shadizzle, we're going to end up with some foggy in the middle. And that's the way it looks. As we go through the overnight hours towards noon, we have low clouds and fog in the northern half of the viewing area. Down south, as you're looking down here, things are looking mighty swell, and they're looking record high like, and that's the way it's looking in the next 24 hours. Now, let's take a peek at this extended forecast, and I want to show you the difference between the European model, and let's talk about the American model as a couple to run through. And if you have a question, I'll be happy to answer that here in one hot minute. Now, as we go through this record-setting weekend, you're not going to see a lot until the cold front comes through Sunday, about noon. That's going to bring a chance for some precipitation of the light variety, but maybe slippery variety as you go into your Sunday night and Monday morning across the Northland. Then after that, high pressure settles in. That's cool high pressure. See these blue lines here? Think of that as a cool dome of air slowly sliding south, pushing the warmer dome of air or warmer air down to the south as it goes south. So we'll have some clouds as that happens, a north wind. That'll cool us off for your Monday. Heading into Tuesday, these isobars mean the wind is coming back, this time from the south. That's a nice warm wind, and here come the red lines, and the red lines are warmth. So as we're looking at this, warm air is blowing our way. Uh-oh, I see gusty south winds over 30 miles per hour, likely over 40 miles per hour for some out west in the Missouri River Valley. That's you, Bismarck. That's you, well, Underwood, and all the way out towards Washburn, the Burn, getting some breezy. Breezy burn? Yeah, it'll be a breezy one in the burn with scattered showers. Here's where we're setting up. Low pressure on the European model starts in the big sky country of Montana, not far from Ekalaka and Baker. As it slips its way through, we'll have showers and, dare I say, some rumbles of thunder. Here we go. Tuesday evening, perfect timing, heat of the day, precipitation, clouds billowing up in the air, those kind of puffy clouds we haven't seen for months because of our cold air. This is where we set up. And if we get what's called convective precipitation, where we get that air rising quickly and we get those billowing clouds. We'll have areas of heavier precipitation. Notice it's wet, not white here in the south as we go through your Tuesday night. So Hutch's forecast depicts that. Could be mixing with snow, though, as we head into the midnight hour as it moves north. It becomes all snow as we get up into northern Minnesota, where the surface temperatures will be a little bit cooler. So by Tuesday night at midnight, 10 o'clock to midnight, we'll have a band of heavy snow, maybe some sleet and ice in some parts of Wisconsin. We might hear a rumble of thunder in the thunder snow as it gets rolling off the gate. Notice this. We got one low pressure system back here with the European and another one that's way out on this side. So it's really stretched out. And also we see this very long stretched out band of heavy snow. Brandon, Manitoba, Winkler and Winnipeg here, the northern Red River Valley from say Park River all the way out towards areas near Thief River Falls and Red Lake Falls. Heavy snow. This is going to be an east wind or southeast wind that will be gusty, 30, 40 miles per hour, not out of the question in some places the way this look. Meanwhile, down here, no wind, very little wind. And over here is that north wind we are more accustomed to getting with storm systems like this. This is a very wet flow of air from the south and from the east as we go through the overnight period into your Wednesday morning. Wednesday morning, heaviest of the snow here with an area of low pressure. So you got a low pressure here, another low pressure system here, and another one here. This storm, this low pressure center has just stretched out like a piece of Laffy Taffy. And there we got some heavier snow near this low, a little bit heavier snow near this low, maybe some sharp north winds on the backside, but a nice break from the winds as you start your Wednesday morning in the FM area. And then as it rolls its way through, the snow ends by the time we get to Thursday morning for most of us, with this model showing now another chance of some flakier weather as we head into the 20th down here in South Dakota. Okay, so we're going to keep our eyes on this first system first, and that is the European's forecast run. Now, the difference between that model and the American model, and I'll try to keep this one a little more quickly because I want to get to talking to you with your questions about this system. Quiet weekend, record highs, boom, wind south, really brings the moist air, really brings back the warmth to our western counties. And here we go, exploding precipitation. The American model guidance, look at this band of snow. This is thunder snow and thunder sleet driven likely, convective type snow, where we could see snowfall rates upwards of 2 to 3 inches per hour maybe, if this sets up like this. Notice we've got a low pressure center here, here and here. So it is stretched out at the beginning, but very quickly this congeals into one more intense low pressure system in Minnesota. Look how far north the warm air stays with this system as we go into your Wednesday. This is going to be as we go into Wednesday in the very hour of midnight. Okay, so midnight. Heavy bands of snow through the Red River Valley and eastern portions of North Dakota. Out west, again, east winds for you in agriculture that have livestock that could be getting ready to hit the ground, if you will. And then we do have the snow lasting into portions of northern Minnesota. So rain down south could limit that snowfall potential, and the area of mixed could cause an area of ice. And then it's one storm system here. When we get one low instead of 3 separate ones, by the time we get to midnight or the early hours of Wednesday, this is a lot of wind that's going to be generated by this more intense low pressure center. So we have heavy snow in places with fairly gusty winds over 25 to 35 miles per hour that will last through the day on Wednesday. And notice how this kind of lingers like an unwelcome visitor, maybe a skunk that's moved in under your patio, if you know what I'm saying. And that snow just kind of sits around all the way through our Thursday into the morning hours before finally exiting. And there's the next system coming up on the American model guidance. So the two models, what are the differences? Let me show you by the direct comparison. Snapshot of the American model, one low pressure system, Wednesday at noon, stronger winds as a result of that, and a real heavy and intense band of snow fall as a result of the energy being focused in one point. European at the same time, low back here in North Dakota, a low down here in South Dakota, and another one way out here, means it's more elongated with some intense bands in different places and at different times with breaks in between. And then the good old Canadian sides a little bit more with the American model behind me with one low pressure system and nothing, no secondary low pressure system out in parts of North Dakota. All three models have a healthy amount of snowfall, as we talked about from the beginning, where you see the pinks, 6 or more inches of snow are possible. I'm not saying likely, but it is likely that we'll see some areas getting over 6 inches of snow. This whole thing can shift north, it can shift a little south, but I think it's in a pretty good position now based on our present snowpack situation. Snow in northern Minnesota and northeast North Dakota keeps a cool pool of air there. So as this warm air rises up, it likely will be setting up on a thermal or temperature boundary here that's going to be close to those fields of snow. And that's my hypothesis, if you will, as to what we'll be seeing along with what's going on in the atmosphere. All right, let's go to some questions. All right, let's see what we got. Clint Moe, thanks for joining. It's appreciated to have you right on board. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, drop me a love, drop me a like, give me some thumbs up, and all kinds of good claps. That helps us get out to more people. Clint, wind will be kissing indeed, and it will be unfun with all of that snow flying horizontally through the region. FJ, do you think that we'll see a blizzard warning issued? You know what, that's treading a dangerous water. I don't like to do that, but I do think we could possibly certainly have areas of whiteout, at least briefly. A blizzard is sustained winds of 35 miles per hour or frequent gusts of 35 mile per hour or more with near zero visibilities. So that could possibly set up. Will they last 3 hours or more? That we'll see as we get a little bit more model detail. But it does look like bands of heavy snow with wind, which, as you know, is unfun to be traveling through. Now, when we take a look at this model, these are 3 snapshots of what each model is forecasting. These models are making forecasts. Okay, that's what they're called. Or we like to call it model guidance from the American, European, and Canadian. But what they're doing for Hutch here is telling me we got high limits here. The high end of the snowfall potential could be upwards of many, many inches of snow, certainly over 6. Same thing here, certainly over 6. Same thing here, certainly over 6. 3 models now, similar location, similar magnitude, but they're not locked in yet. That's why I'm saying I think there's a great bet that we'll see an area getting over 6 inches of snow in our area and wind to boot. Will it be blizzard wild? I'm not going to go out on that limb yet, but I do think we could have some very difficult travel setting up if this pans out. And if you have livestock coming, then it might be good to, get some of those shelter provided for them. This is taking the European model and running it several times with slightly different input into it, and it comes out with a much lower amount of snow for each location. So which is right, Hutch? What does this mean? No, it doesn't mean that this model on average is gonna say, we're gonna poo-poo that snow, there ain't gonna be much snow. Nope. If you take 20 different model runs with errors introduced into it, might have 0 on several of those runs, and it might have 7 or 8 or 10 inches of snow. So you end up with the very low side averaging the very high side, and it comes up with this nice, neat composite average for all of the model runs, many of which will be in error. And some of the model runs that we were just showing you between the Europe and the American are certainly going to be in error of the exact track and the exact intensity. But what it does do is over all of those model runs, it gives us this orientation of the heaviest band of snow and a location for the heaviest snow. I take information from this. I take information from the snapshot model runs that show a high-end magnitude and a low-end magnitude, and I do think 6 or more inches looks to be like a high possibility. Here's another model average where we're lumping a bunch of models into one pool, but it isn't just the European run several times. This is all the different models that we can get our hands on that go out this far, and here we go. And now we're starting to see some over 6-inch totals on this. So we're seeing a lot of convergence in the area. We're seeing a lot of convergence in the track, but not exact yet. So that's why this is not a forecast for specific amounts yet, but it's starting to help Hutch dial into a magnitude that we could be seeing. 6 or more inches appear likely. Could we see a foot in a location or two? You betcha. Could there be thunder snow? You betcha. Am I overblowing it? No, I'm not. These things could happen, and that's why I try to take a look at what these models are showing me with my experience and say, what are the impacts going to be? The impacts will be to travel, ground and air, livestock, and you agricultural interests out there. Wind will be out of the east at first. It'll shift to north, but as we look down that European model, the north winds don't look too strong. However, if the American model wins out and it's one focused low pressure center moving through, then even the north winds on the backside of the storm will be stronger. Okay, thanks so much. Hey, Brian Waters, good to have you. I have a snowmobile trip planned to Nadawash Tuesday and Wednesday, or am I probably not? Well, on Tuesday, we're going to get pretty warm this weekend. So hopefully there will be some snow remaining in Nadawash for you there in Monoman County. But if not, it looks like after Wednesday, there's a fair shot at seeing some Monoman County fresh snow. So that's it. And then on the early side of the storm, as you go there on Tuesday, we'll have south winds. You could get rain and maybe some thunder shower type events or thunder snow. So keep that in mind. Wednesday, you could get some snowflakes flying with some wind, and that's what it looks like. FJ, how do you find these model averages for snowfall? Well, they are out there. I use a site called Pivotal Weather to bring you these from all the different models that I use. It's not a secret. You're welcome to look at them, but try to keep everything you're looking at on these models into perspective. There's not one model that gets it right every time. So don't get yourself caught up in looking at these and expecting this. But at the same time, you know, it really is a nice thing to look at, and you can compare models. These are called ensembles, E-N-S. So ensemble means a bunch of model runs run together and then average. So look for ensembles. You can look at European one. Global ensembles are a good one that average more. And then you can also look at the National Weather Service's it's called the blend of models, and that's what you're looking at right here. So that's where they are, and you will find them on Pivotal among other types of pages out there that are outstanding for providing information, but interpreting that information, I just want you to be cautious with. Blake, thank you very much. When does it seem like the storm will clear out? Flight planned out of Fargo on Thursday morning. By Thursday morning, most of the snowfall should be exiting, and it looks like the wind won't be terribly strong on the backside if the European model does pan out with this particular system. And I'll put that back up here. Here is that European model, and I will go ahead and put this right into the time frame of your interest. Thursday morning. Watch this until it says Thursday at 12Z. That's 6 a.m. on Thursday. Here you go. You've got some north winds on this system in Minnesota, but pretty calm, pretty quiet for that particular time. So with any luck at all, it's going to be golden. The question is your flight getting to Fargo from Chicago or from Minneapolis, and what are the impacts there? We don't know. But the bottom line is that we should see improving conditions in our area into Thursday morning to midday across our region. Hey, Facebook, it's good to see you. Let me see if we got any more. Brenda, hi. Sean, good to see you. Wowza, says Brenda. And Pierce says, Williston, the oil patch is likely to see at least a little bit of snow and some mixed precipitation with the system. What day is this happening? Watching from Olga. Hey, Kevin, good to have you on board. Now, if you happen to be in North Dakota, this is a Wednesday system. On Tuesday, if I back this up just a piece here, let me load this back up. Okay, so here we go. Now we're going to put this model back on Tuesday. You're going to see a lot of isobars, these black lines. South winds on Tuesday, this is noon, we could start seeing some spotty showers and maybe rumbles of thunder. So Tuesday night is when we'll start to see rain in the south and snow up north. So, and I'm talking about the oil patches where things first get started. So let me step through this in time on the European model. And it's not too good to put a lot of weight in the specifics of this at this time. It just isn't. Every model's going to show you something a little bit different. But we do have a heavy band of showers of rain and snow and maybe thunder snow, thunder sleet, rapid accumulations of a wet, heavy variety at this stage of the storm system. And it will be making its way as we go. This is going to be Tuesday evening. And then look at the snow expand. So the northern half of North Dakota has a decent chance of some significant accumulations of snow. But I think in particular from the Bottineau area and points east is where I believe the highest totals will be found. And why does Hutch believe that? It's because that's where we have that coldest of the air setting up shop right now. And I think that will make an impact on the track and travel of this system. But you know what? There's a lot of upper air meteorology that'll be going on here when we have some dynamics come in that bring a lot of lift. Then we're going to get snow out of this on that side. So you can see this system lasts until this is Wednesday at noon, and we're still seeing some loftier snowfall potential in the northern period portion of our counties. And then by the time we get to Wednesday night and into Thursday morning, it's all but gone with another system getting ready to boot scoot right through the region as well. Thanks for the question. I do appreciate, Kevin. I hope that helps you with your answer there. And let's see, Brenda, hi. I see a squirrel fishing. That's a good thing. I like squirrels. Hola, amigo. Thanks for being you. I appreciate it, Josh. Thank you for commenting. Let me see. Wishing your followers happy birthdays and being the best weather person we could ask for. Thank you so very, very much. I appreciate that. And Sean here says the models have changed from yesterday. Have they changed? That's a question. I'm sorry. Yes, a little bit. They've changed a little bit, but the European model continues to have more of a drawn out low pressure center type of event, which I think will spread the impacts out over a greater area and lower the heavier bands of snow. But the American model continues to have a singular low pressure system with more focused energy in one spot, which could mean a very narrow, very heavy band of snow with a lot more wind in the answer or that solution. Do I have a hankering as to which one might pan out? I can say the European model for the last 2 days has had that stretched out look to it and the orientation from northwest to southeast. Some of the models have even had it running through in a different orientation over the last. The American model has been consistent the last 2 days of keeping a more singular, strong low pressure with stronger winds and therefore heavier amounts of snow. The other change was that yesterday, if you recall, some of these models were spitting out 20 to 30 inches of snow, and that's gone now too. I'm glad that's gone. And we talked a little bit yesterday about why that's less believable, because in a 24-hour window, it's very, very, very rare that this region, North Dakota and parts of Minnesota, has gotten 24 inches of snow in 24 hours. If a storm lasts a couple days, that's more possible here. And that's because of how much moisture is available in our air. So thank you very much for the question, Sean. Derek, thanks for the update on the weather coming. You betcha. Thanks for watching, Rita. Always a pleasure to have you on board. Rosso, Minnesota. It says, Josh, don't you know? Okay, good to have you on from Rosso, Minnesota. I hope you're going to the good old hockey game. How's Rosso doing in hockey this year? I have paid very little attention. I know our team from Moorhead here has had a pretty good year again after their very, very first state championship only about 12 months ago. So pretty cool. Terry, how's Brainerd doing? And in Brainerd's hockey team, we know that you guys are big-time hockey folks, and I did go to high school out in the Brainerd area for a while out there as a young man. Sean, they look pretty similar in the track. Yes, they do. They all look very similar in the track of the heavier snow right now. That's not a lock that it's going to be a guaranteed, but it's increasing my confidence that it's going to be more of a northern event at this time. And that was my hunch going into it, because that's where we have snowpack. More of a northern and eastern event. Any blowing snort? Well, you know, if we get some rain to wet down that snort a little bit, maybe we'll minimize that. Yes, there could be some blowing snow with this system, particularly once it first cools us off and we get down into those upper 20s and low 30s. Then it's going to stop being a wet snow and a heavy damp type snow. It'll start becoming a little bit colder style, fluffy or powdery snow as the event persists into Wednesday night. Tracy says, we need to take a trailer to Colorado and we're planning to leave Thursday morning. Would it be better to leave Wednesday ahead of the storm? The best solution I can give you at this early stage for you to keep your eyes on will be the European model, and we'll take a look at a national map so you can see, okay? So let's answer your question, and thank you for that, Tracy. I appreciate it. Katie, I'm getting to you next. Hello from Macintosh, she says. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at what we have with this system, and you're leaving Thursday, heading out to Colorado. What part? Western slope, eastern slope, big difference. Let's see if this storm, as we head into Sunday, Monday, and ooh, here we go, bing. Okay, so western Colorado gets some upslope. They're going to get precipitation as we go into Tuesday. Here's our storm system stretching out. This is Wednesday in the morning, all day Wednesday. It evacuates the area. Here's that secondary storm that we only saw coming at us on the end of the model run. And here you go, Thursday, 6 a.m. Our storm will be exiting. Things look pretty good, but this next Colorado low will be moving through. And if this is the track of the Colorado low with the Rocky Mountains, it's extremely crucial the exact track this low takes. If it's here, then the heaviest snow will be in the panhandle of Nebraska here, Scotts Bluff area. And if you've traveled that way before, you know the Black Hills and parts of eastern Wyoming, rather, the I-25 corridor here get rocked with what's called upslope snow. What that would mean to me, I've traveled to Colorado many, many times because that's where I went to college and that's where Mom lived for so many years. But traveling south this way might make more sense. But oh no, look where this storm's going. By the time we get to the noon hour, it's pushing through Sioux Falls, Sioux City, and areas north of Omaha, with its heavier band of precipitation. So that's one model there, and what that means is that during the daytime hours that you'd want to be traveling, that storm could be impactful to a few areas that you'll be traveling through. I would pay attention to it, Tracy, because there could be some inclement weather. Now, we'll go ahead, just for balance sake, as we get both sides of the story here on Hutch's Weather, fair and balanced, but we'll look at the American model and see what it says, because for giggles, that's out a long ways and a lot can change. But it's good that you're keeping an eye on it. Thursday, our storm exits. Here's your Colorado low. A more southerly track means the snow will likely have, oh, it doubles up. You see how it splits into two? This means Montana and northern Wyoming would have a better chance at some snow with this system. And then if this model pans out, this is Thursday evening, you're much better off going straight south out of Fargo and then across at Omaha, and you may have minimal impacts. So I would watch where this low tracks and then base my route on that. And hopefully you find one that will be safe for your travels. And I wish you the very best. If you have a question along the way, feel free to ask me. Katie, thank you for watching. I do appreciate all of you for doing so. Hey, Gary, watching from Fergus Falls, Minnesota. This storm system in your area is going to be kind of interesting as we go through, simply because you're going to be right on that marriage point between the wet and the white. So likely there will be some measurable snow, and the northern half of your county in particular could very well see more than what you see down in the Grant County area to your south. Dylan, heading south and cut west at Sioux Falls, you'll probably miss it. Oh, answering questions for me about the Colorado trip. Thank you. Link up with North Platte, etc. Yep, that's exactly what Hutch was just going over. Dylan, great minds think alike, my friend. My idea is that winter is over. I like your idea, Gary. Tagging a friend is Tyler. Thanks for tagging David. Fooey potato, says Tyler. And I guess that might mean that dust the snow pushers off. Yep, it's time to wax on the shovels and get things ready. Logan, good to have you on board. Cheryl, thanks for watching from Park Rapids. You likely are going to see some snow from this system in that particular area. Heading to Lake of the Woods Thursday, do you think everything will be over and cleaned up? In the farther east you go in Minnesota, the longer this Thursday system will last into the midday hour, but I think by the afternoon things will be pretty good. So if I go back to Thursday, here it is. Notice Lake of the Woods County still in the path of it as we go into 6 a.m. Here's 6 a.m. It's heading off into the Arrowhead, and most models have it clearing out by morning to mid-morning on Thursday. So that could change, but the way it looks now, we're looking pretty good. Sean, thank you for your question. Gary, thank you so much for your stars of support. Kathy, thank you for your stars of support from beautiful Grafton in Walsh County, North Dakota. And Warren saying might have to rake the yard in Jamestown this weekend. Snow is all but gone. Warren, I've heard from you that this winter has just been no fun for those that want to get the sleds out and stuff. You're going to be on the line again. I think the Highway 200 corridor north of you will have a better chance at seeing significant snow from this, but you might get some out of the deal. But you know what? Might as well rake the yard and get her going. Hey, Dennis, good to have you on board. February 22nd is the birthday, and what's the weather? Let's show you the American model because I got it. And happy birthday upcoming to you, by the way. Here's the 22nd in the evening. Let's go to the morning of the 22nd. So here, high pressure, but it's cold high pressure. How do I know that? These blue lines, cold north winds behind this low. It's a cold system after we get through. And then as we go through the day, this high pressure system slowly meanders off to the right or to the east. And that means a return south wind by the end of your birthday. So it does look like it's going to be a pretty chilly day, but you know, if you're like me and you have, say 50 or more candles on your cake, then you got a way to keep warm. Happy birthday. All right, Kim, thanks for your stars. I appreciate it. And I think that does take care of it. Thank you for liking the posts. Thank you for sharing the posts. And I want to encourage each of you to share Hutch's weather app because it's getting out there and a lot of folks have downloaded the app. And for this next weather making system, I really expect or would like to show off the ability of the power of that road report that we have put together with my friends at OK Tire. It has content on there that is very important in making your decisions on travel. And if you can put that up on your phone at any time, then by golly, you're in good shape. So let me pull up the app here. And let's see, where is it? And there it is. Okay, so I'm waiting for it to load. Let me see. I might need to hit F5. I don't know why it's still thinking. Maybe I'm overworking my computer and it's thinking too hard. Let me try one more time. Thanks for bearing with me. One of the things about doing all these things live is that we do end up sometimes having to there we go. Having to improvise on the road. Here we go. Hutch's Weather app. Search Hutch's Weather in your app store today. I do want to point out that the road report is super duper handy, and I've gotten a lot of feedback from people like you in building the app. It was your ideas that helped us put it together the way that I did. And now the fact is, on the road report, you have access, if you're traveling to Colorado, to every state along your path, okay? So start out in North Dakota, hit the North Dakota button and look at the road conditions. All green means seasonal. You can also, a pro tip here, if you go to this little menu bar on the ND Road site, you can turn the cameras on, toggle those puppies on. Each state or province's roadmap operates a little differently, and the colors represent a little different stuff. Hit the X here, don't just close out of the whole thing, and now you'll be able to turn on cameras to see what's going on. Let's see if it's foggy up north where the snow remains on the ground. I see frosty roads near Lakota, and you folks out there have a beautiful sunset and a beautiful day, and dare I say, I don't know if I even see much in the way of snow. Now, if you're traveling over the hills and through the woods to Colorado, you go through North Dakota, you go through South Dakota, we got you covered. You head into Nebraska, oh, we got you covered too. And then, oh, boom, you're heading into Colorado, shazam. All your roads, all the conditions, all the available cameras at your fingertips. And on this page, it's not only about road reports, it's about winter weather. And here is the snow accumulation forecast at the bottom of the page. All you got to do is push the play button. You push the play button and watch it for the area you're traveling to. Whoop, 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 whoop. It's going to say no snow in the next 24 hours. This is a 24-hour forecast. It's not going to go out 10 days because it's too much of a stretch to really have any good feel for what we're going to see. But look what's going on in the mountains of Colorado, where Hutch went to college to be a meteorologist, right there in the Denver area. And look at those mountains. Well, squeezing every little bit of the moisture out of the air. Warren says the app is great. It's becoming the go-to weather app. Thank you. And there's been some fixes because you have told me about some things that weren't working quite to your liking. And we've got a new upload that's just come out with those things fixed. And one of the beauties of this weather app, I do want to point out, is that you can add what I call widgets to your desktop. So if we go ahead and close out of the app, which is highly not recommended in winter weather, but let's go ahead and go back to the home screen. Okay. If you go and you hold down on Hutch's Weather app logo, there's a thing here that says widgets. If you click on the widgets button, there are a dozen widgets you can add to your home screen from Hutch's Weather app. If you want to see current conditions, if you want to see the next forecast highs for the next few days and precip probabilities, if you want the radar on your home screen, you can have that. You can have the 7-day forecast highs put this way. You can have the current conditions put up this way. Let's go to that. And you click on it and we add it to our home screen. And once you do that, shazam, right on your home screen. It's 36 in Moorhead right now. It feels like 30 thanks to a south-southeast wind at 6 miles per hour. More updates are coming. We continue to build and evolve the weather app for you, with you. And not only that, there's a lot of tools on this app. Now all you got to do is click on this, boom, opens up the app right for you. On the radar page here, you can get so much more information than just radar. That's why I call it Radar Plus. Hour by hour forecast for the next 24 hours. I'm talking future radar, future snow, earthquakes, and power outages, all at your fingertips here. And down below, if you go down a little bit lower, I've got a lot more for you. Snow reports, handy this time of year. Why? I think you should have it on there. If you don't see a snow report for your area, it's not because we're not covering your area. It's because as meteorologists, we, or the National Weather Service, have not gotten a report from that area. We count on measurements from people like you to fill us in with where the snow fell. So if I go on to that and we saw the snow falling out there in Colorado, or as expected to, you're going to go to a National Weather Service page. Here's the legend for the map that shows you if you see any yellow or brighter colors than that, then by golly, they got some good snow. We haven't had any here because it's been too nice, too nice. If we go to the whole map, we see out here by Lake Erie in Ontario, a little bit of snow in the blue category. That's generally under 4 inches of snow. In the mountains of western Colorado, we've had some snow out there, as well as parts of Arizona, likely up by the Flagstaff, where we've got some flakes that have flown in that area. And again, if we zoom right in, it'll show us the measurement amounts. 4 inches on the north side of Flagstaff, with right in town seeing about 1.5 inches or so. It's all right here at your fingertips. And thank you to everyone on here that supported me with stars. It's because of your support that I've been able to continue to add to it what it is that I'm doing. But there's something else on here. It's Hutch's Gear Shop. If you push on that, you're going to have access to all kinds of cool things. You can support Hutch by ordering products that you see on this. So go ahead and check them out. We've got Pedro the Prognosticating Pooch. We've got all kinds of designs on here for you. We've got cups, we've got water bottles, we've got bandanas for the puppies. You can shop by the graphic design, awesome hoodies, and of course, the good old-fashioned travel trouble. If it's snowing, you want to know before you take out that 69 Chevelle and go slip sliding away. All right, everybody. Thanks, Deb. I hope you're having a good evening. Warren, thank you very much. I appreciate all of you. You have a great night. I'll be back with an update this weekend and on Sunday. You can count on Hutch to keep you up to date with the latest. But you know what I want you to do is get on out there and enjoy the record-setting weather on Saturday, on Sunday, a cool down Monday, quiet weather Tuesday, and the flakes will be a-flying for some of us on late Tuesday night and into Wednesday. Have a wonderful evening. I'll keep you up to date with the latest, and we'll talk again, I hope, really, really soon.
This has been a Hutch's Weather Update with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Wait, you forgot the new app. You're right, I did. Don't forget to download our new app. Oh, now let's rock. Thanks for watching Hutch's Weather